Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's Civil War boys basketball matchup here in the Greater St. Helens League 2A division. It's the Mark Morris Monarchs taking on the R.A. Long Lumberjacks. Good to have you with us, Nick Sisson, here on behalf of N2 Media. And special guest commentator tonight of Seton Catholic. We got Kellen Ball here, one of the assistant coaches for the Cougars and an alumni as well. Kellen,
Yes,
thanks for being with us tonight, man. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited for this matchup. It's two great teams out of Longview. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, exciting it always is, Kellen. These two teams are no stranger to one another. Not only do they live 2 miles away from each other, but they're also very familiar in terms of how many matchups they had over the last couple of seasons. The last 6 games, 4 of them have gone to R.A. Long, along with 2 district championships. Mark Morris got the undefeated league championship last year and won both regular season matchups, but it was a different story come playoff time. And these two teams have a few new players on the roster and a couple of familiar ones as well. Braden Olson leads the charge for the Mark Morris Monarchs. Meanwhile, it's a bevy of new players for R.A. Long to go along with some complimentary players from a year ago. Lonnie Brown Jr., one of those guys, and he's developed nicely into this next season. We'll talk a little bit more about both of these teams after the national anthem. So just be a couple seconds here, folks. All right, we got the R.A. Long Pep Band in the house here tonight doing the honors. But back at it here, Kellen. I mean, Mark Morris comes into this one in first place in the Greater St. Helens League currently. They got a 6-1 league record, a 7-5 overall record. Meanwhile, R.A. Long 9-2 overall, and they are 5-2 in the GSHL. Your guys' team, the Seton Catholic Cougars, had a chance to play R.A. Long earlier this season, the second game of the year. Just talk a little bit about what you like about R.A. Long.
What I like about R.A. Long is Rhett Young, number 34, 6'9", sophomore. He is just excellent in the post. He's very good when the post comes collapsed, and he's able to kick out and find open shooters like number 0, Lonnie Brown Jr. Can't miss when he's hot. And then who else? Tremaine Jenkins, open also in the post, and can also shoot the ball like Lonnie at the same time. So he's very good at finding the open shooters and also making plays at the rim. He can go finish high efficiency right around the rim. So he's going to be fun. That matchup between him and whoever Mark Morris puts on him really could be the difference in the game to me.
Well, we're going to get to know the starting lineup here real quick for the Mark Morris Monarchs. Fans, type into the live stream comment section your thoughts, prayers, hopes, dreams, favorite colors, questions for Kellen or myself. Malachi Gray, the first starter name for Mark Morris. And then, of course, the man, Braden Olson, the all-time leading scorer in Monarch history as of now and counting.
Yep, past great Kobe Parlin.
Dalton Stevens, 6'3" junior. This is a guy who's got some serious athleticism and length. Great defender, good rebounder. Jaden Jenkins is filling in for the injured, we'll say, Carson Bogner. Now the captain, Dawson Morrow, the big man down low. Mark Morris the defending league champions, second place finishers from a year ago at Yakima. Kellen was there at Yakima, had a chance to watch a little bit of Mark Morris basketball.
Yes, they played very well last year. Very fun team to watch with Kobe and Braden Olson.
Times called one of the top 10 gymnasiums in the state of Washington, the jewel of 1939, your historic Lumberdome. I ask you, Lumberjack Nation, as you rise to your feet. Don't you know what time it is? It's 7:04 p.m. and it's time to get a little bit jacked up. Here are the starting lineups for your, say it with me,
It's hard to see, obviously, because it's dark, but the Monarchs student section is just perfect. They bring the newspapers and open them up during the introductions for the opponents. Student section gamesmanship,
Oh yeah,
level 100.
They don't care about anything RA Long here over at the Mark Morris section. Hopefully they're reading all about the 14-0 Washington Huskies.
Lonnie Brown Jr., first starter for the Jacks. Peyton Thill, the second starter for R.A. Long.
Big fella.
Rhett Young getting his first taste of Civil War basketball here tonight. The transfer from Columbia River, 6'9" sophomore. Figures to be a big factor here tonight in the matchup, depending on which direction it's going to go. If Mark Morris is able to keep him off of the rebounding side of things, I think that Mark Morris can have a lot of success here in tonight's game, especially with the great guard play that they have. But I think that you're going to look to see guys like Jaden Jenkins and Dalton Stevens for Mark Morris have solid defensive games if Mark Morris is going to pick up a road win here tonight. And for R.A. Long, it's just a total team effort. They're usually a team that's got 4 or 5 guys hovering around that 8 to 15 point mark. Young being one of those, of course, but they've got plenty of guys that can do things at any time when you need them to. I think the key for R.A. Long is try to establish the defensive end early and rebound every first shot opportunity that they can for Mark Morris and not allow second chance opportunities.
Absolutely, they have to keep Rhett Young off the boards. If they can do that, they stay in this game for as long as Braden Olson can shoot them and all their other shooters and scorers.
Well, fans, welcome to tonight's broadcast. Share it with friends and family. Again, pound the like button, comment in the game if you want. We will read your comments on the air. As we are just about set, the lights appear stationary at the moment. Rhett Young will tip it off against Dalton Stevens. Stevens giving up about 5 inches of height here, but he's an athlete. And the tip is controlled by the Monarchs. Ball loose, stolen immediately by Abel Million.
Not the start that they needed.
Students will be standing, as they always are here, on the near sideline in the Mark Morris student section. Ball rotation far side, now out to Jenkins. Jenkins, a high screen. Hop, step, steal. Malachi Gray gets his hands on it. Olson.
Good find.
Tough shot. Ooh, foul is going to be called. Jaden Jenkins goes up. That's crucial because Young now with his first personal just 29 seconds in.
Yeah, not what R.A. Long expected going into this game with Rhett picking up his first foul. They need him in here if they want to have any success tonight.
Seahawks fan for life says Mark Morris will sweep R.A. Long. Ooh, bold statement. Jenkins gets the first.
Get that friendly roll on the front rim.
Monarchs get the first point of the game. And the second is good as well. So Jenkins with 2. Peyton Thill will bring it across for R.A. Long. Entry. Young gets it out. Million. Brown picks up his dribble. All-man defense so far for Mark Morris. Looking to enter it to Young. Young has it slapped away from behind. And they're going to say Mark Morris possession. Tough call there going against R.A. Long, but
they're trying to force it in. They've got to get in motion. They've got to get the defense to move so they can make that entry pass.
Olsen gets it across the timeline. Monarchs move it to the near corner now. Jenkins, Gray, Morrow all the way to far side. Stevens now. Gray comes open, pulls the trigger. Good closeout there by Million as he was right in the face of Gray, and Gray just missed that one though. Thill, the trailer in the corner, gets out of the corner and gets it out. Million keeps it rotating back to the far side. Jenkins, his triples off back iron, rebound to Stevens.
Great rebounding so far by Mark Morris. They've not given up any second chance rebounds to start.
Nice feed down low. For a moment, Jenkins was wide open. Olsen being guarded by Brown. Tough floater. Yes.
Ooh, got it.
Quick 4-0 lead here for Mark Morris. Brown comes up to get it. Thill, bounce pass. That's a tough shot there for Young. No good, but Brown's there for an offensive board. Thill thinks about it, now pulls the trigger, it rolls off, and there's Stevens. Good box out on the rebound. Stevens with a couple boards so far.
This is a big possession to get the lead out to start, and boom, Braden Olsen.
Dream start here on the road for Mark Morris. Brown for 3. Yes!
Gets him right back into it.
LBJ from 3 cuts the lead in half. Olsen, hop, step, kicks, open 3. Jenkins to get it back.
Right back at him.
And we've got a whistle. Net hung up there. Jenkins now with 5. I already mentioned in the lead-in that he's a guy that is going to probably be leaned on to do a little bit more on the offensive end, with Carson Bogner missing tonight's game after an emergency appendectomy earlier this week.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's tough.
Tough way to start the week.
9-3, Mark Morris on top.
Oh.
Player down, and an offensive foul is going to go against Jenkins.
Definitely did not establish himself.
4:58 to go, opening quarter. Olsen goes right, dribble behind the back at the foul line, finds Gray. Gray for 3, and it's up, and it bounces over the glass out of bounds. Gray's had a couple of tough looks here in the early going, but he's a guy that can hit tough shots. R.A. Long surviving so far here in the early going. Got to get a bucket here and try to get this one down to 4. Obviously a 3 helps, but you know, at this point, just kind of want to establish something on the inside.
Absolutely. They haven't gotten really any looks at the rim. Start.
Brown gives it to Million.
That's
Million
what you need.
Takes it, misses it, but he's going to get to the line.
Orange number 10, Gray, first personal, first team foul. Million to the line for the Jacks. Shooting 2.
Ooh. First free throw, no good. The student sections are right on top of these guys right now. And Million misses the second, and Jenkins goes up and gets the board.
Mark Morris, huge possession. If they can stretch this lead out and make R.A. Long use that early timeout, that would be huge.
And this ball's out of bounds, and it's off of Gray. Good hands by Million. And he missed a couple freebies there, but gets it back on the defensive end. So it's a good job there by Abel. I think this game's honestly going to come down to the guys off the bench here tonight as well, you know. R.A. Long's got a couple guys on the bench there. This one's in the passing lane, nearly stolen away. Jenkins able to recover it from Dalton Stevens. Now 14 on the shot clock. Brown behind the volleyball line. He's got that range, believe it or not.
He does. He hit a couple against us. I've seen it live.
Gets it to Brown. Brown gets Morrow off his feet, pulls the trigger, no good, but there's Jenkins with the offensive board. Now Brown drives, takes it strong, and misses. Rhett Young tries to get his hand on it, but it goes right to Olsen. 2-on-2. Olsen fancy dribbling. A whistle up top is going to slow the play down, and now a little bit of extracurricular potentially there after that foul. Olsen not pleased with Peyton Thill.
He had to let him know he wasn't thrilled with that foul. Nobody likes a foul on a fast break.
9-3, and Landon Irwin off the bench replacing Abel Million. Irwin, a sophomore, a guy that has a lot of upside for future years, and you know, also, honestly, including this season as well. Olsen for three off the screen. Yeah, cash.
There's that early timeout.
And here we go. Timeout, R.A. Long. Mark Morris on top, 12-3 after the Braden Olsen triple. Olsen already with 7. Olsen had a tremendous game in this gym last season against R.A. Long. Really took over there in the second half. And, you know, when he's getting out to this hot start like this, and you look up on the scoreboard at the 3:24 mark, and R.A. Long's only been able to manage 3 points. You know, they've been doing it all with their defense so far this season. They allow the least amount of points in the league at 46 per game. And already Mark Morris is on pace to get to that 60-point plateau if they continue this pace.
Yeah, it's also hard when R.A. Long's giving up wide open threes like that last one was. They can't do that, especially as good of a scorer as Braden Olsen is. It makes it too easy.
Back to action here. Jack's ball after the timeout, 12-3 Monarchs.
They got to get a paint touch at some point here in this first quarter. There it is.
Young, open, misses though. Probably could have put it on the deck one more time just to get a little bit closer. Outlet up ahead, tipped and saved, and out of bounds they say though.
Yeah, that's one that R.A. Long needed to convert to get him right in. That was what I was talking about earlier with the movement. They moved it into the post. That's a great paint touch and a good look. They just got to convert those.
Malachi Gray to inbound it from the near corner. Entry down low, good position, good up and under. Morrow clinical with the shoulder roll and the footwork.
That was 6-1 on 6-9 there, folks.
Thill moves it to Irwin. Irwin pulls the trigger for 3, no good. Jenkins has it tapped away, and now a feed down low is out of bounds. The Jacks looking a little bit out of sorts here, and now Million is going to check in, and Young is going to sit down, so the Jacks are going to go small here.
This is surprising. I thought that Rhett Young would dominate this first quarter and really establish the Lumberjacks into this game. We'll see how they do with the small ball lineup here.
Olsen gets a step initially, now establishes Nash Bjorgi into the ball game. Moves his pivot foot, but he's blocked on the weak side. Far side, Brown for 3, yes. LBJ, the only player to score for R.A. Long. He's got 6.
Oh, deep pass.
Bjorgi runs the floor and gets it.
That is a travel. It looked good, but just too many feet, moving that too fast.
16-6, a $1:47 to go.
And another
Stevens, his first bucket of the game is a triple. Mark Morris is shooting tremendously well here in the first quarter.
Ooh,
Three from Phil, no good, but Jenkins is there. He charges in, and it's an offensive foul. Jenkins now has 2 offensive fouls, and I'm not sure if this is his second or his third at this point. His third here in the first quarter, and Jeff Rookledge checks in.
That is a tough third foul.
Oh, yeah, that is tough. Absolutely. Jenkins, a very critical player for R.A. Long, and
R.A. Long's going to try to speed up the game. Ooh.
Shot in the paint missed. Rebound, Million. Jacks need a bucket, need a stop. 3
LBJ
for Brown,
again.
no good. Bjorgi with the board. Olsen,
Good
pull from the foul line, short. Brown with the rebound. Fast pace now. Favors Mark Morris. Brown finds Rookledge. Rookledge for 3. It rolls off. Olsen with the rebound.
He's got the trap.
Olsen doubled, gets it out. Gray, skip pass near side. Stevens drives baseline. Double teamed. Moved his pivot, no call. Just barely, though. And now we've got a 30-second timeout called here by head coach Bill Backamus of Mark Morris.
He's only got 12 on the shot clock. It'll be not a quick hitter, but they've got to find something quick.
I got to scoot that off a little bit there. It's a little hot. Speaking of it's a little hot, Mark Morris is a little bit hot.
They are. They've started this game hot. Braden Olsen, if he's not scoring, he's finding someone. He's set up a lot of good shots and found good teammates. He made one that was right in the corner, found number 20, Dalton Stevens in the corner. Beautiful pass.
Oh, you can set that right there if you want. Yeah, perfect. Yep. Back to action here. Trenton Lamb into the ball game for Mark Morris. Inbounds it to Bjorgi. Wide open is Ibarreta, who's also in. And he turns and hooks it over Abel Million. Off the bench, Drew Ibarreta with 2. 21-6.
Good find.
Irwin ball fake and no call. A lot of contact down there. And now
a lot of arms.
Wrestling for the ball, and looks like they've got a foul called against Irwin. So very tough here for R.A. Long. This is going to put Mark Morris on the free throw line. Now the 5th team foul of the quarter. Nash Bjorgi will head to the line for 2. This is about the greatest start you could hope for if you're Mark Morris. Nash Bjorgi with the bucket. Now 3.
Yeah, this is not what I was expecting at all out of R.A. Long. I thought they were going to start a little bit hotter, but credit to Mark Morris.
Bjorgi now with 4.
Monty Brown.
Brown misses, and that's going to count. Yes, they say count the bucket. What a play there. Landon Irwin gets the bucket. R.A. Long trails this one 23-8. Mark Morris, man, I tell you what, it doesn't get much better than that start there, Kellen.
Absolutely not. They came out with a mission, and they did everything defensively right. They boxed out Rhett Young, which I thought was going to be one of the keys to the game. If they can keep him off the glass to start the game, they're going to be successful, and that's exactly what they've done. The 2 Lonnie Brown threes were tough to give up, but hey, credit to him. He's a shooter, and they know that's what they're going to give up when he shoots the ball.
23-8 after 1. That is half of the total points that R.A. Long allows per game here in the first quarter. I mean, it couldn't have been a better start for the Monarchs. Not only did Olsen get off to a good start with 7, you've got 6 different players scoring in the first quarter for Mark Morris. I mean, Kellen, this sounds exactly like the blueprint that RA Long has, drawn up every game. They've got 4 or 5 guys contributing, but, this is when Mark Morris plays their best basketball, when they've got all 5 guys that are on the court playing together and contributing.
Absolutely. Like you were saying earlier, yeah, it is usually RA Long that has 4 or 5 guys. But, yeah, credit to the Monarchs. They came out and they've established their presence in this game early.
Irwin drives baseline, kicks to Rookledge. His three's no good. And Jenkins toes the baseline on the rebound and saves it. Mark Morris with their first possession now under
Great
the basket.
find.
Jenkins ball fake goes up and it rolls down. Kellen, you've already mentioned it here tonight that getting down low, getting to the paint and right at the rim is critical for RA Long. And Mark Morris is not only shooting the ball well, but they're also getting right underneath the hoop and getting quality looks. I mean, we saw it earlier with Drew Ibarreta. We saw it right down there with Jenkins. I mean, they're doing just about everything that you could hope for correct.
Absolutely. They're getting great looks at the rim. Even though they're contested, I mean, they've got the guys that can make them, and credit to them. That's why they've got the lead. I thought RA Long would do a little bit more of that, and they still can. I think that would get them right back into the game.
They're not out of it yet. Irwin for 3, but the three-point shooting, other than Brown, is not there right now.
Not at all.
The Monarchs are doing a tremendous job of taking away the paint.
Another paint touch.
Drop step spin shot, no good on a foul, though, and Olsen will head to the free throw line. Chris Smith on the Facebook comment says gut check for RA Long. Chris, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's definitely gut check time. It's a 17-point game, and the best shooter on Mark Morris is at the foul line here, and first free throw actually bounces off, so that's good news for
good
RA
announcing
Long
right there.
Yeah. Jenkins and Stevens and Morrow back in the game, so 3 starters out there, and entire starting lineup for Mark Morris out there at the moment with Gray and, of course, Olsen at the foul line. 6:55 to go here in the second. Second free throw is good for Olsen, now 8 in the game. Phil inbounds it. Jacks still going with the small lineup. Young on the bench. Jenkins on the bench with 3 personals. A lot of game left here, but there's Young back out there. My bad.
Oh,
they snuck
the post matchup.
They snuck him in somehow.
I know, 6'9". He's sneaky.
He's got to look to establish there in front of Morrow. Morrow's such a big, strong guy. He can. Well, that's probably a travel, but good job by Million.
Right to him. Good finish.
Paint touch, right? Long up ahead.
Ooh.
That's out of bounds. That's what you got to hope for is Mark Morris to just try to get a little bit too quick with their offense and throw the ball away. But
that's how they get RA Long back in this game. If they keep throwing those passes and they keep turning the ball over and give RA Long more chances to get back into this game, it could be trouble. Oh, and here comes the trap. Mark Morris is doing everything to speed this game up.
This ball is out of bounds off of Million. Good play there by Stevens. Having fun so far, Kellen?
I love this. Love watching good basketball.
Mark Morris has played phenomenal so far here. 6 minutes to go here in the second. Olsen being guarded by Phil, pulls the trigger from 4 feet behind the line, no good. But Morrow's there for the second chance. I mean, that's one of the things that RA Long cannot allow is second chance looks at the basket. And a good defensive play there by Irwin, cutting off the bounce pass entry, but unable to secure it for a steal. Fans, again, feel free to type in your comments and thoughts and prayers, hopes and dreams. Malachi Gray to inbound it. And good job there by Million just to stick his left hand out. He almost palmed that one, and
he did.
You heard the thud. It hit it right in the cup area of your palm. Malachi for 3 off the inbound. That's short. And the RA Long student section hasn't had a lot to get motivated about here. They kind of whimper an air ball chant there, but they need something to get the energy going here on that side.
Absolutely. They need a big shot right now.
I think right now, I mean, it's pretty simple. Just got to figure out a way to either drive the basketball, get to the foul line, or, get some good block entries on either side. Hell, I mean, even a high post entry at this point would help a lot, you know, if you could work from that elbow. Still
wow.
fouled, no call. Crowd letting the officials hear about it. Irwin, tough shot, rolls off. Olsen, good job getting in there and getting the rebound. Finger roll miss. Young, aggressive, gets in there and secures the board. A much-needed rebound for the Jacks.
They are letting them play tonight, and I love it.
Brown, ball fake. Jenkins tries to run him off.
That's what they need more of.
Great take by LBJ. He's leading the Jacks with 8. It's a 14-point game.
RA Long is at their best when they're driving the basketball and dishing it or either finishing at the rim.
So far, it's a much better defensive quarter for RA Long.
0 points in the 4 quarters that we played in this, or 4 minutes that we played.
Foul on the shot. Phil is going to pick up the personal. Dalton Stevens taking a hard fall into the wall. Those 2 words rhymed. I didn't mean for that to happen, but it just did.
It's basketball. It happens.
Ball, fall, Kellen ball, right? You know, I mean, that's the way it works.
Definitely.
First free throw, cash for Stevens. He's got 4. The balanced scoring just continuing here for Mark Morris as Morrow is going to take a breather. Trenton Lamb back in. Lamb, not a very tall man at 5'9", but he's a catcher for baseball, and he's thick and strong. He can do some good things. Got good fundamentals and good footwork.
Oh, it makes sense. I see why.
Stevens hits the other. 5 now. Million drives baseline.
There they
gets
are.
it to
there
Irwin.
They are.
Brown ball fakes, gets around Lamb. Shoots from the baseline and hits. LBJ looks pretty determined here, Kellen, and he's got 10 now.
He does. He's the best player right now for RA Long.
Look at that footwork I was just talking about. Look at that. Jump stop, pump fake.
Gets 6'9", Rhett Young out off his shoes.
Trenton Lamb gets on the board. That's the 7th Monarch to score.
All-around team right now.
Corner, it's a 2, I believe. Nope, it's a 3 for Abel Million to match the number on his jersey. All right, Long looking to get going a little bit offensively here. Got to come up with a defensive stop, though.
Cut the lead back down to 13.
Gray, nice pump fake, a little runner, one-hander off the backboard and in. That's Gray's first bucket, now the 8th Monarch to score here in the first half. Crazy distribution here for Mark Morris in the first half. It's a 15-point Monarch lead.
Ooh.
Young still looking to score, and he's fouled. Let's see if they give him a shot here. It looked like he was about ready to go into a shoulder roll, and they're going to go on the baseline. Probably the correct call there, Kellen.
It was. He wasn't quite in the shooting form yet. He hadn't quite turned to the rim.
Irwin receives the inbound. Whistle, foul called. They're going to get, I believe, Gray going through the screen that Irwin set. Is that what you saw there, Kellen?
It is, yeah. He tried to fight through it and just fought through the guy, not around it.
2:54 to go before half. 32-17.
Let's see if they run that same play again. They were trying to get a corner 3 off of this.
Sorry to cut you off. Malachi Gray, I just heard, has his 3rd foul.
Oh,
that entry pass
huge.
was there, but Morrow comes over from the weak side and pokes it away. Rhett Young thought he had one guy sealed but didn't feel the second. Hop step in the lane and
That's
a whistle.
Number 2 on Rhett Young.
And a foul's called. I thought that they had a travel call coming there, and I think that's what Jure Key thought as well. I'm just trying to read minds, though.
Yeah.
Looks like they got that one on Peyton Phil. That's his 3rd as well. So, I mean, You got Jenkins and Thill with 3 fouls. We haven't seen Jenkins here in the second. And now Bjorgi checks out. Drew Ibarreta back in as Olsen misses the first free throw. And Olsen actually misses a pair. You don't say that very often. Outlet up ahead. Irwin trying to get there first. Ball fake, shot miss. Young keeps it alive and gathers. Goes up, he's stripped. Recovers though. Million with it. Moves it far side, Brown.
They've got to get some drives into some post dumps.
And we're going to have a foul away from the ball. I believe they're going to get Olsen on this one. It's the 3rd team foul, so both teams with 3 team fouls. You could feel a lot of confidence in the Mark Morris fan base here in student section, and kind of pins and needles for the RA Long fans. I can even feel it up here. You know, it's kind of like you're hoping for something here to keep this game close, but you don't want to let it get too far away. Oh my God! Get that out of here, says Stevens on Brown. And then Olsen counted and one.
Wow.
Lumberjack foul number 5, Rutledge. First personal, 4th team foul.
Are they going to wave it off? Oh, they are. They're going to get a foul.
That must have been away from the ball.
Yeah, oh, it must have been. What a play by Stevens.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere and just blocked that. That was impressive. They've got a good post matchup. It looks like they're going to go to it. Oh.
Ball nearly stolen. Now it's on the floor, picked up. Irwin does have it, and then a foul from behind on Young.
That's a cheap one. You don't want to give one 60 feet from the basket.
1:57 to go here before the half. The Jacks are hanging around here. It was a 15-point game at the end of the first.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't gotten a high post. Oh.
Rookledge being cut off there by Ibarreta.
Thought we were going to get a layup.
Gets another
there.
dribble, though, as he lost control of it. Thill, hesitation, dribble twice, drives into the paint, turnaround shot, tough. And Young was out of bounds when he touched it. Man, the length of Mark Morris and the discipline of just going straight up is really giving RA Long problems here. 1:32 to go before the half.
The one thing on defense that I've seen from Mark Morris that I haven't really seen from any other high school team around here is how disciplined they stay on the ground and not block shots. Yeah, Stevens just got a good block, but on all the little layups that RA Long has gotten, they stayed on the ground and made them contested. What a move.
Yeah, Olsen's filthy, goes into the paint and then rolls out, tough rims there. And loose ball goes through the 5-hole of Young and out to Olsen. So new life here for Mark Morris. Stevens, hop, step in the lane, hands off. Morrow is blocked by Young. That's a big defensive play. And now it's poked loose out to Olsen. Shot clock reset to 25 now. Olsen drives down the middle, finds Jenkins, and Jenkins is up and down.
They've got to rotate on that double. They're
9 for Jenkins. Brown fouled, no call, loses the ball. Shoots from the baseline, no good. Ball loose. Rookledge gets it and puts it up and in. Jeff Rookledge with his first 2. About a 4-second difference here between shot clock and game clock. And
over and down. Didn't establish himself quite yet.
Lonnie Brown fired up. RA Long playing even with Mark Morris so far here in the second, but Mark Morris is, still doing what they need to do, keeping the Jacks at bay.
They need a big shot right here to go into halftime with some momentum. Something to talk about and go off of on the halftime speech by Coach Key.
Thill looking to drive baseline, cut off quickly though by Stevens. And there's a foul. Wow. Jenkins is just shoving Irwin out of the way. And this is going to be free throws. So Irwin will head to the line. It's what you expect in a Civil War game here, Kellen. I know it's your first one taking it in, but yeah, this is common.
Yeah,
guys
it's
getting after it.
The physicality is really what stood out to me. A lot of hard screens being set. We'll say set. Some of them haven't been set, but being thrown at each other. So it's really intriguing to see how this will carry over into the second half.
Irwin unable to hit the first. Second one up and on the way, looks short, and it is. Jenkins secures the rebound.
Watch for the double team on
Olsen's
Olsen.
got handles.
Wow.
Step 3, no good. Irwin rebounds, 2 on the clock. Can he get it up?
Oh,
And a travel. They're going to probably put some time back on here. Yep.
Monarch basketball.
Yep, they're going to add 1.3. And my guess, the play is going to be a quick screen for Olsen to come off and shoot a 3. Or a 1 dribble pull-up, if I had to guess.
I'd love to see Jenkins come from the low block and curl and go all the way back around to the far side or go to the near side and get a lob towards the rim. Stevens is a guy who could do that for you, but yep, you're right. Right here, Olsen for 3, good if it goes.
And got it.
In Fuego, Braden Olsen pleased with his effort. 37-19, all Monarchs here in the first half. They did not trail at any point, and they lead by 18. They lead by about as many as they gave up. It's about as good of a first half as you could hope for if you're Mark Morris. They end up outscoring R.A. Long by 3 in the quarter.
Yeah, this is a dominant performance so far by Mark Morris. Braden Olsen has came out in fuego, like you were saying. He is scoring the ball at will.
He's got 11 to lead 8 different Monarchs in the scoring column. The balance is just unfathomable. Hayden says, and boom goes the dynamite. It ain't over yet, but I mean, yeah, that was a big firecracker there at the end. I mean, how big was it there that R.A. Long had a chance to rebound and at least run the clock out, and then a traveling violation gives Mark Morris 1.3 to go to work, and Olsen makes them pay. It adds 3 to the scoreboard there. I mean, you could be looking at a 15-point game. That's a lot different than an 18-point game, especially when you're at high school rules. So, I mean, And the other thing is, too, is I hate the 2 free throw rule here for when you get to the bonus. I mean, I'm a big fan of the double bonus and, shots at 7 and then 2 shots at 10 rather than this 5 each quarter. It kind of puts less of a premium on hitting your free throws because you're guaranteed to get 2. I mean, missing the front end gets the ball back for your team. So
yeah, definitely makes it tougher, especially down the stretch for teams when it's a close game. You're used to anticipating that one-on-one and hopefully that free throw shooter missing the first one. But now it doesn't matter, like you were saying.
R.A. Long cheer out center court. We'll talk a little bit here, but mainly about Mark Morris. They got 11 points here for Braden Olsen. And then I believe that I wrote 9 for Jaden Jenkins. For sure I wrote 8, but maybe the ink was running out on my pen. I'll do some quick math here before I continue to regurgitate this. So let's assume it's 8.
Amaya Huntley, Peyton Miller, Bo Godwin, Miley Eaton, and the freshman Emma Akers.
So it is 9 for Jenkins. The ink was running out. So 11 for Olsen, 9 for Jenkins, 5 for Stevens, 4 for Bjorgi. And then Lamb with 2, Ibaretta with 2, Malachi Gray with 2, and Dawson Morrow with 2. I mean, wow, you got, like I said, 8 guys scoring. It's a really, really great effort for Mark Morris in totality here. Lonnie Brown Jr. leading the way with 10 for R.A. Long. Abel Million with 5, Jeff Rookledge with 2, and Landon Irwin with 2. I think that the big story here is when you look at the box score, you don't see Rhett Young's name. You don't see Tremaine Jenkins' name. Jenkins with 3 fouls in the first quarter. I think that the front court, game that R.A. Long is missing has been crucial. Not necessarily just on like the rebounding end of things, but they're going to need to get some semblance of an offense from those guys here in the second half to have a chance. Obviously, it's not over yet, but that's tough.
Yeah, Tremaine is really helpful in their offensive sense as he gets kind of their offense flowing. He's really good at attacking the rim and dishing down low. He's a really skilled passer, and not having him for the whole second quarter really hurt their offense. It felt a little bit stagnant at times as they were kind of passing around, trying to find some threes from Lonnie Brown. and Paintsville. So hopefully they look, once Jermaine's back in, look to attack more and get downhill. And then, yeah, not having Rhett Young score hurts them a lot because I really thought that was going to be the advantage that R.A. Long had all night.
The R.A. Long cheerleaders. Jody Wygant says lots of former Robert Gray Explorers out there playing tonight. You know, I went to Robert Gray, and we were the Raiders way back when. So I don't know when they changed to the Explorers, but that's unfortunate.
Very.
A lot of changes. Sometimes not for the better. Yeah. Anyway, that's all good. Well, 5:23 to go before the start of the third quarter. Mark Morris enjoying an 18-point lead at the half. Started out hot. They led 23-8 at the end of the first quarter. And again, Trey Jenkins, 3 personal fouls in that first quarter, really set R.A. Long kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit. And the thing is that, I mean, as you know as a former player, playing with 3 fouls early in the game, even when you start in the third quarter, as the man that just walked by, Kobe Parlin, he knows about that. Last year in the state championship game, completely robbed of an opportunity to play and be a factor against Linden. I mean, when you get back out there with 3 fouls in the third quarter, you're just one more away from sitting back down again.
Oh, yeah. All it takes is a quick one. Last night in our game against the center, Caden Wilson, our stud freshman, got 3 in the first quarter. And just, yeah, it made it tough. It made us scheme around, and I'm sure it's going to make R.A. Long scheme around what they can do without him on the floor.
Yeah, 23 points in that first quarter, super good for Mark Morris, you know, because R.A. Long's just not used to giving up points like that. You know, they're a good second half team, R.A. Long is. They typically play really well out of the third quarter. You know, fourth quarter also, it's been closing time for them on the road. Wins at Columbia River, wins at Prairie. You know, they come up with good fourth quarter efforts. Obviously, again, they're not out of it yet as Bill Backamus is the first out of the locker room here for Mark Morris.
Business. That's a legend right there, folks.
Hoping for Bill's first state championship game as he looks over the official score sheet at the table to get some much-needed information.
My guess would be foul count. If I had a coach's POV, we're trying to figure out how many fouls we're looking at and who we can play at what situations and what time.
Ridgefield or Woodland on Monday. I mean, I think Ridgefield's, you know, the better team there. Ridgefield and R.A. Long, they're like brothers this year. They mirror each other so well in how they go about their game and their offense. I know they do it with defense first, great coaching. Woodland's also well coached by Justin Gabbard. I just think the difference is that Woodland lost, you know, just a little bit too many guys from last year's team, and they're still kind of learning, you know, how to play 4 quarters. They've had good games where they've played 2 really solid quarters. They've even played 3 solid quarters. They actually had the lead in the third quarter against R.A. Long in the last home game here in this gym. But, you know, the fourth quarter meltdown with turnovers really killed the Beavers in that one. I think, you know, if Ridgefield's playing at home in that one, I feel really good about it. On the road, you know, it's just it's a tough place to play in Woodland, but ultimately I would go with Ridgefield in that game. What about you, Kellen?
I would second that. Ridgefield's got some weapons in Colchester and Colton Castro, some other guys that can play. It would just, no offense to Woodland at all, but just some of those guys make it tough. And they took a really good River team to the wire, ended up winning by 2. So credit to Ridgefield. Coach Buffum's got them playing pretty good right now. I'll give them all credit. Got the man, Coach Tilton, in the building. Got a lot of games against that man. Castle Rock legend. Now Mark Morris legend again.
R.A. Long still in the locker room with 1:30 to go. Got to imagine that there's a spirited conversation being had.
And here comes R.A. Long back out.
just paid a visit by Jody Nalen, editor of the Daily News. Good to see him and his dreadlocks. Well, Mark Morris has been out of the locker room for about 5 minutes or so, 4 minutes at least.
Yeah, Bill's getting them back into shape, getting them ready to get the second half going. And we got both student sections back on their feet. I love it. I was expecting a little bit more chance back at each other, but man, R.A. Long's got really nothing to say right now, so.
Well, at the moment, right, you are. But it can get rowdy.
Oh, we got a 2-3 now.
Morrow kicks it back out Gray after the entry. And we got a foul immediately. Abel Million is going to pick up the foul, trying to wrap around steal.
That's a cheap one. Halfway into the shot clock, reach around a guy's back. Not what you want right now. But it is only his first.
Gray comes over to inbound on the near side. Three on the way for Stevens. Looks long, but it somehow goes in. I mean, when it's your night, Kellen.
Everything's going right for Mark Morris right now, even the little shots that are rolling the rim.
Brown from deep to get it back.
Oh,
yes.
Right back at him.
LBJ now with 13.
They've just got to find other guys that can do it other than LBJ.
The zone defense allowing for some shooting, and Stevens pulls the trigger again. No good. Long rebound, though. And a cutter is Olsen, and Olsen finishes with the left. Olsen with great vision there to see the breakdown in the middle and take it strong to the rack.
They got a mismatch underneath. We'll see if they take advantage of it right here.
Thill also scoreless for R.A. Long, finds Jenkins. Jenkins enters it to Young. Young turnaround hook, no good. And the rebound secured by Stevens.
And they got a runner.
Morrow loses a handle on the way up.
That's a tough one. That's one that you gotta have. That's a gimme.
Brown drives and kicks. Jenkins sets his feet for three. No good. Brown pushed in the back. Let's see if that's the foul call, and I think it is. The outside official and the baseline official both throwing their arm up on that one.
Took him a second.
Yeah, I thought, it's like now processing, whistle. But for the most part, they've let them play here tonight.
It is, and that's what it should be in a rivalry.
Million airballs it. Thill sees it, though, and gets in there, knocks it away, and rebounds it.
Here's the chain in now.
Jab step, Jenkins drop step, spin, cut off beautifully, goes around. Oh my goodness! Stevens is absolutely denying almost everything that is contested in front of him. Unbelievable defense for Dalton Stevens tonight.
Absolutely, he's got two huge blocks.
He's been a huge difference maker for the Monarchs as LBJ hits a three again. Is anybody on him? 16, 4 made threes.
Oh, tough finish.
Jenkins. Getting inside, though. Brown blocked.
Off the back.
Olsen all by himself.
Showtime! Oh.
Goes up. He touches the rim. 15 now for Olsen. Lead up to 21. Monarchs just keep pouring it on here. Defense leading to offense now.
A lot more movement, except for an offensive screen.
Foul called on Young for a moving screen. And Drew Ibarreta checking in. 46-25. Olsen from the foul line. 17. Braden Olsen is letting the game come to him tonight, doing a great job. Off the dribble, Shot up, no good. Olsen taps it. It's going to be a foul against R.A. Long.
That one on Lonnie Brown.
LBJ picks up his first personal. Jack's now with 3 team fouls, so with 5:03 to go, only 2 more, and there's going to be some shooting. Landon Irwin coming in for Abel Million.
That's really what you don't want, is to get them into 5 fouls really here early here in the quarter. Ooh. Got away with maybe a push off there.
Oh.
Here's the chanting that I was talking about.
Olsen misses, but there's Jenkins with the offensive board. Stevens drives and kicks near side. Monarchs looking to reset.
There's a double. Triple.
Ball tied up, knocked away. 1-on-1, Irwin goes up and finishes. Landon, don't call him Steve Irwin with the bucket.
R.I.P. Here's the double again. Yeah, R.A. Long's going to try and speed this game up and try to get it out of Braden Olsen's hands as soon as he catches it with that double team. And I don't blame him.
Yeah, 17 for Olsen here in the game. And there's just a lot of contributions across the board as Gray's going to check in here for Olsen. So Bill Backamus, recognizing the double team, probably wants to take some heat off of Olsen for a little bit, not scared to sit his star player to allow the other guys to preserve the lead.
Absolutely. This will be an important stretch down the game, just to see how they can score without Braden Olsen.
Jump, stop, kick.
Ooh, an
Stevens,
ankle.
and yep, Jenkins came down awkwardly. Kind of limping over there in the corner, trying to stretch it out. Gray travels, no call, and
banks it.
Scores somehow. That looked like an extra step, didn't it?
It did. And a
Phil
charge.
is going to get called for a charge.
Yep.
Just not R.A. Long's night here at home. The Monarchs are doing everything right. 50-27. That's the 5th foul in the quarter now for the Jacks. And speaking of the number 5, Jeff Rookledge comes into the game. Peyton Phil will have to check out. That's his 4th personal.
Yeah, R.A. Long is not in an advantageous place in this game. They're really behind the 8 ball, like you were saying earlier. They've got to find something here soon, or else this one could get ugly, folks.
Ball fake, shot, no good. Jenkins misses the shot, thought he might have been fouled. Brown moves it to the corner. Jenkins, who hasn't scored, drives, wraparound pass to Rookledge, who fires up at 3 and hits.
That is R.A. Long's best offense. They are great at driving and having the defense collapse and kick out to their shooters. Ooh.
Stevens down the middle, misses. Foul is going to be called. Loose ball variety, and it looks like it's going to go against Ibarreta. And that is the call from Ryan Chinchin.
And Olsen's back in.
So 2:57 to go in the 3rd quarter. A quick breather for Olsen. Again, the story of the game, if there is one, I mean, at least my story of the game is Rhett Young and Trey Jenkins unable to get going here, both scoreless. The Monarchs doing a great job defending the front court. All of R.A. Long's points seemingly from the 3-point line tonight, Kellen.
I would agree. I think I can only count like 1 or 2 layups, if that. Oh, that was awkward.
Great defense there by Gray. Olsen up ahead, scores, tough bucket. It's a 22-point lead now for Mark Morris. Brown still with his dribble. Good job by Bjorgi using his length to just get a hand up and not bite on the pump fake. Young finally goes to work and scores his first 2.
And there's the double again.
And they didn't see the pass coming. Jenkins not home. 2:07 to go. Kellen, this is the biggest 2 minutes and 7 seconds of the game for R.A. Long. They've got to get this game down to 14 or 13 in that range heading into the 4th quarter if they're even going to have a shot in this one.
I would agree. They need 2 stops and 2 big buckets, at least here. Oh, and Mark Morris with the zone. Oh, it looked like it there for a second.
Matchup zone.
Yeah. Looked like a 1-2-2.
No, they did show it, yep. Brown being closed out on hard now. Young going to work on Bjorgi. Left-handed hook, no good. Ball tapped, and Olsen's there. Olsen's probably almost in double digits for rebounds. And he's fouled, and he's going to head to the line. This is just not what you want if you're R.A. Long, is putting a good shooter at the free throw line.
Absolutely.
I mean, Braden Olsen's, a borderline scholarship basketball player at the next level. I mean, his handles, the ability to shoot the basketball, the ability to create off the dribble. He's got a lot of tools in his game. He's an underrated athlete in terms of how he's able to get up off the ground. Misses the first free throw as I say a bunch of really good things about him.
Another announcer's genius.
Yeah, blame me for it. But, yeah, I mean, just such a good scorer. And, he's really evolved his game this year, being the alpha guy now with Kobe Parlin graduated.
To me, the biggest thing that stands out to me about him is he makes it really look easy.
Brown has his three roll off, and there's Olsen with the board. Olsen gets around two, pulls up from just inside the foul line. I mean,
that is easy, folks. That is easy.
He's a walking bucket right now. Brown from the volleyball line, no. And the ball's tapped out by Young, and it's out of bounds. Minute 13, and this game really slipping away for R.A. Long. It's a 23-point Monarch lead, 55-32.
Monroe back in the ball game for the Monarchs. Replaces Bjorgi.
Morrow checking back in for Nash Bjorgi. I mean, the thing is, too, is that everyone who's coming off the bench has done something to contribute tonight for the Monarchs.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, 8 guys have contributed in the scoring book. You just don't see that often in high school.
Not unless you're in, like, the 4A level.
Yeah, where you've got 8 guys that can all play. And then Mark Morris absolutely does right now.
Olsen, ridiculous step back.
Oh, my goodness.
It's just not fair right now.
It isn't. R.A. Long just doesn't have a guy right now that can do what he's doing.
Young gets a nice entry from Jenkins and scores. Something to feel better about after allowing the Olsen bucket. But, I mean, R.A. Long's not allowing that to happen. Olsen's just making it happen right now.
Great players make great plays. And he just splits it with ease.
Stevens jabs, takes the three. No good. Nobody down low to rebound, though, for R.A. Long. Casey Lewis says total blowout in the comment section. I mean, at this point, you can't argue with that. And that ball's lost out of bounds. Jenkins was trying to establish on the near block, but forgot the ball. 5.6 to go. It's a 24-point lead. R.A. Long looking for something here.
I expect a quick screen. Nope. Oh, he's just going to go up and shoot
Brown, no good. 58-34. Mark Morris in full command here in this one. 8 minutes to go in Civil War round 1. And the bad news for R.A. Long is that game number 2 would be at Mark Morris.
Doesn't get any easier.
It does not get any easier. But, like I said in the lead-in last year, Mark Morris did win both regular season games, although it wasn't in this type of fashion. R.A. Long did come back to win the district championship and when it mattered most, and that win really got R.A. Long top 8 seed heading into the regional round where they did go to Pullman and lost, but still had a chance to go to Yakima, I mean, same thing could happen for him this year, but, man, between now and then, a lot's got to improve and go right. I think that you got to just give Mark Morris a lot of credit, though, tonight and how they've gone about their business.
Absolutely. They've rebounded the ball phenomenally. Like you were saying earlier about Braden Olsen, yeah, he's definitely in double digits for rebounds if we had to guess up here. But they've also kept Brett Young and Tremaine Jenkins. He's been on the bench a lot with his 3 fouls. But they've kept those 2 guys off the boards, which I thought was going to be the key to the game, and it turns out it has. So if they can continue this for the 4th quarter and neutralize their rebounds, I don't see R.A. Long coming back. Or it's going to be a very long game.
Olsen with 25 points at the end of the 3rd quarter to lead Mark Morris in scoring, and then Jenkins still with 9 and Stevens with 8. I mean, just that quarter pretty much belonged to Braden Olsen, honestly.
run out.
That's your 60-second minute to win it. Thank you, Lumberjack and Monarch fans. All proceeds going to the Safe and Silver Senior Party.
RA Long starts with the basketball here in the fourth. Young, bounce pass down low. Jenkins collapsed on and fouled.
That was a tough post up there. They, him and Dalton Stevens, they were fighting down in the post for a good 3 to 4 seconds between before the ball got passed.
Irwin looking to drive on Jenkins, create some space. That's a big move there. Love to see that from the Crocodile Hunter.
And the double coming again.
This one's thrown into the
And
backcourt.
it's a turnover.
Over and back called. So Irwin with 6 now after the made bucket. Lonnie Brown to inbound it.
Got the big fellow passing in the ball. You don't see that very often in high school. Usually posting up on the block. Oh, and there he goes.
But he's catching it pretty extended there. Amaro's doing a good job of bodying him out. Oh my goodness.
That is number 3.
Stevens has been incredible defensively tonight.
Yeah, he has done a great job of locking down either Tremaine Jenkins or Peyton Phil, who's been on pretty much the whole night, or Landon Irwin. Oh, that is a foul.
Count the bucket and one. Stevens takes a hard spill. Jenkins a little frustrated there after being blocked. You can tell that there's a good competition between those two down there. Stevens got the first one. I'm surprised they allowed the bucket to go because Stevens landed on it before the shot, but Jenkins will take the 2 and head to the free throw line for a chance at the 3-point play.
Stevens, he got a little bit greedy. He got 3 of them tonight, 3 really good blocks, but try to get the 4th right there, and Tremaine just made the great play of up faking him and get him up in the air. So
Abel Million returns into the lineup for RA Long. 7:14 to go. It's a 20-point game, 58-38. RA Long has scored the first 4 of the fourth. And after a lengthy delay, Jenkins ready for the free throw. They made him think about that one.
Too much time.
Yeah, misses that free throw and remains a 20-point game.
Ooh.
Olsen picks up his dribble in the backcourt but gets it across. Good ball fake by Gray. Made me move the camera. Jenkins.
They're just sitting on that flex action. Oh.
Count it and one. Stevens fired up as well. A lot of emotion in this game for both teams. Obviously, Dalton Stevens now in double figures with 10. You got 3 Monarchs in double figures now.
Yeah, makes it tough to beat a team when you got 3 guys over 10.
Dalton Stevens is a 6'3" junior forward. You know, he's got a lot of upside, I'll tell you what. If he's able to develop the offensive game a little bit more from beyond 16, 18 feet in that range, he could be a real problem for, you know, this season and beyond, obviously. I look forward to seeing how he continues his development into next year. He's a guy that you should be looking at if you're a next level college, you know.
Absolutely. He's got next level athleticism.
Rhett Young pulls the trigger, misses the shot. Look at Trey, though, get in and get the offensive board. Million for 3, no good. Jenkins, another offensive board, but a foul is called on Jenkins.
Yeah.
And that's going to be his 4th.
Ever since the 4th quarter started, these two have been battling, Stevens and Jenkins. They've been battling hard rebounds, hard fouls, hard post-ups down in the block. Be interesting to see if Stevens can bait him into getting his 5th foul.
Yeah, never fun to get fouled out, especially at home in a rivalry game. Yeah, it's tough. Referees got to do a lot of custodial work here tonight.
Got nobody working the mops.
Stevens nearly lost a handle there trying to throw that one in.
They're making this a lot harder than it needs to be. It's a man press. And there's the double.
Deflection. Stevens catches it, and that should be offensive. Yep, they've been calling that all night. And Jenkins again in position.
That's a risky one, man. With 4 fouls and you take a charge.
That's what Trey's all about, man.
I love it. I love it.
He's a guy who plays with his hair on fire.
Hey, I wouldn't want anything less, man. Those kids are usually coachable, so I'll take it all day. Ooh.
Jenkins out of the corner. Brown now with it. Volleyball line, no good. Olsen secures another rebound. He's got to be in double-double territory with rebounds now. Malachi Gray dribbles and passes it off to Stevens for 3. Yeah, Stevens starting to develop that game I was just talking about. 14 now. I was about to say Gray has actually had a relatively quiet game by his standards, and Mark Morris is still winning with ease here.
Yeah.
Good move down low by Irwin. Chance of it's all over by the Monarchs student section, and now a whistle. And it looks as if
off-ball foul.
Jenkins is fouled by Irwin. Morrow's going to check out. Nash Bjorgi is going to check in. 64-38. Just a wire-to-wire beating right now. Mark Morris is just laying it on, and R.I. Long's going to have a big learning opportunity here for this one.
Absolutely. They got a lot to take to game number 2.
Stevens fouled as he shoots from 3.
Just short, almost the M1.
And he'll head to the line for 3 free throws. But, yeah, Gray with 4 for Mark Morris. Jeff Rookledge is going to check in here for R.A. Long.
Stevens to the line for the Monarchs, shooting 3.
First free throw from Stevens looks short, and it is. Second free throw is good. Stevens now with 15. Phil back into the game with 4 fouls. And as I mentioned, Rookledge checks in. Young and Million will sit down.
Got another small ball lineup out there for the Lumberjacks.
27-point advantage for Mark Morris. 5:16 to go. And the free throw is good. And Mark Morris takes the timeout after the made free throw. It'll be R.A. Long ball after the timeout. Fans, if you're a fan of what I do, and Kellen joining the broadcast tonight for the first time, you can always shoot us a doll hair or two at N2 Media on Venmo and PayPal. Venmo preferred. PayPal, man, they rip a fee from you. It's hard to believe, right?
Yeah.
This land of the banking system that we all grown to love and hate at the same time. But hey, social media, help me out if you can. And speaking of social media, this is where we can be found on YouTube, Twitter, the artist formerly known as Twitter, and Facebook. This is where you'll find all of our game links, and obviously we will be streaming the second Civil War coming up at Mark Morris High School, and then a lot of games in between. And I'm also proud to announce that we will be doing our 4th consecutive district championship game in the Class 2A between girls and boys at Kelso High School coming up on February the 16th. So be sure to mark your calendars for then. Whitney, it could be tonight. I'm surprised it wasn't tonight. I swore that this was going to be a Civil War baby. And it still very well could. There is still just under 4 hours. The due date's the 15th, but yeah, anytime. I thought it would be tonight or Monday, because it's the 2 most important days of the week for me as we're back to action. And Steve Irwin, it's actually landed, but hits the 3. The Crocodile Hunter still going to work here. Crikey.
They need more of those if they want to get back into this.
3 from the corner, short from Stevens. Rookledge with the rebound. Irwin drives, gets past one, goes up, aggressive take, misses it.
No backboard on that one.
Great take, though, there by Irwin.
And Braden Olson one-on-one, that's a mismatch. Yep.
Olson flexing after the bucket, now 27. Lot to be happy about if you're Braden Olson. Nice dime.
Ooh.
No call on the contact. Brookledge scores, give Brown the assist. Entry pass, Bjorgi hands off to Lamb. Lamb cut off and double teamed. Nice find, though. Great patience by Lamb, and Bjorgi comes open.
Yeah, that was really easy, almost too easy.
That's
And
thrown up,
one.
counted and one. Wow, that is a very, very athletic shot by Jenkins, and took a hard spill after Lamb slid over.
You don't see very many right-handed scoop shots on the left side of the hoop that go in.
Jenkins now with 4 after the made basket, looking for 5 at the free throw line. Free throw no good. Gray being guarded by Rookledge. Jump stop, far elbow, up and under.
Wow.
Scoop! It's no good.
Oh.
Some young fans calling for a travel back here. I don't know. That would look like a good footwork.
That might have been. No.
Offensive foul. He's
Nope.
fouled out after hitting a shot like that.
I think
No,
they
they
counted
count-
it.
oh, they-
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Woo. What a bucket. Trey's had 2 of the most difficult and one shots I've seen in a very long time in back-to-back possessions for R.A. Long.
I would second that. That last one, that 360, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Hard to do a 360 with 2 feet available.
Absolutely.
But hey, if anybody can do it, it's Trey Jenkins.
It is.
70-47. Jenkins has been fouled on all 3 of his made buckets, and this time he converts the free throw. 7 in the game now. But just a little too late in the game here for R.A. Long to get back into this one. Nice feed to the high post. Stevens feeds Jenkins down low. Jenkins, great patience. Goes up and off the glass. Right at the cup, though, again, Kellen.
Yeah, it's especially hard to get back into the game when you're giving up wide open layups.
Drop step spin, Jenkins,
Oh,
and this is going to be traveling.
Yeah, what's really stood out to me about this game is the easiness of the shots. Mark Morris has gotten a lot of really good, easy looks at the rim, and R.A. Long has just been fighting for it, as that's an offensive foul.
Yeah, Gray creates a little bit of space and
A little bit of a sell job.
asks Ryan Chinchin, are you serious? The 15th is Jamie's birthday, so she votes the 15th. Is it the 15th? I think it's Martin Luther King Day. I could be wrong, but that's not a bad day.
No, not at all.
That's good.
No. He'll always have that, child will always have that day off of school, so hey.
Well, see, I think MLK Day rotates. It's not like a hard. It's not a hard set. It's like Easter. You know?
Okay, okay.
Yep. It's MLK's birthday, though, says Allison Box. Now, that's big time. I like that.
Yeah.
Turnaround hook shot. Morrow misses it.
Unique Calvin chants are coming out.
Oh, man.
That one's got to hurt.
You need Cavan, the chant from the Mark Morris student section. Olson very excited after diming it tomorrow. Pass up ahead in position. No.
And one.
Count the bucket for Irwin. That's a good call, I think. It's a late slide and to get into position underneath the basket. Always dangerous there when you're right underneath the basket in the restricted area. High school doesn't really have that rule per se, you know, but
It's imaginary.
It's a gentleman's call, you know.
It is.
Irwin hits.
I feel like we still play by it, even though that you don't see the circle out there. Most refs and most coaches coach with it there.
Irwin's quietly had 12 here, the sophomore off the bench tonight. Like I said, Kellen, before the game started, he's a guy that I like in the upcoming future for RA Long. They're going to have a tremendous team 2 years from now. Olsen shot no good, fouled on the shot, though, and he'll head to the line 74-51. But we were watching the JV game earlier. We were talking a little bit about the young guys out there. I mean, they're scattered all over. Only one junior on the JV team for RA Long, and then you've got Jeff Rookledge, Rhett Young, and Landon Irwin, all sophomores out here. You can throw in some of the guys that we saw earlier, like Isaiah Lindsay on the JV. Big guy as Olsen hits the first free throw.
Yeah, we did see a lot of talent, and even playing in this game, you see a lot of young talent that's still going to be available for next year. Both of these teams, there's no resetting, there's a reloading, and they will both do that.
Far corner three, Irwin, no good.
Oh my goodness.
Olsen just somehow wrapped the ball all the way around. Drop step spin, finger roll with the left. I've got 30 for him unofficially.
That takes some moxie to go behind your back and from the free throw line and float it up.
Jenkins
another
and Stevens,
block.
another big one. Oh my goodness.
And they're going to slow it up. Yep.
Gray.
Boom.
Icing on the cake. It is a landslide victory for Mark Morris tonight. 80-51.
Yeah.
The Monarchs student section and adult fans on their feet here for this one. What a performance. Gray was 7 after that last made basket. The benches are going to clear again.
Yep.
To be honest with you, though, Mark Morris has been into the bench all night.
They have.
Like, there's only a couple guys checking in that haven't played so far tonight. A lot of contributions from everybody here who's seen the floor for the team in Columbia Blue. But unofficially, again, Braden Olsen, 30 points on my score sheet. Dalton Stevens with, looks like 16, and Jenkins with 11. I want to just throw it in here. They're doing this without Carson Bogner, a starter as well, who's suited up there in the camera right now next to the assistant coaches. But, man, you think about the balance that Mark Morris has played with tonight and the schedule that they've played so far this year. They're going to be a deceptive team when it comes time for the committee to make a decision if they're fortunate enough to get back into the postseason with 5 losses. But they are just as good and just as talented as any team in the 2A state, it appears.
I would 100% agree. That 7-5 and that number 26 RPI rating does not justify how good of a team this is.
Into the ball game, Bo Jensen moves it to the corner, bounce pass to Stevens. That's Nate Stevens to Ibarreta, and Ibarreta just showing off some great footwork to get to the far block and go up with the left hand. That's actually Ibarreta's second bucket of the game. He's got 4 now. Devin Harris into the game, as well as Gabe Huntley, and Huntley
Boom.
swishes home the triple on his first attempt. That's cool to see. Nice shot, Gabe.
Except nobody's gotten the ball. Oh, there we go.
Shot clock is off, and that's going to do it, folks. Mark Morris can dribble out the clock. And
got the student section saying goodbye right in front of me, saying goodbye to the RA Long fans until they meet again.
I got to tell you, man, with RA Long only allowing 46 points a game so far this year,
82.
to put 82 up on him on the road in the first Civil War, I mean, it speaks volumes as to how prepared that Mark Morris was here tonight as they win it wire to wire going away. Final score in this one, 82-54. The Lumberjacks scorekeeper doesn't want to keep that scoreboard on for very long, but
I don't blame him on that one.
I mean, I think that what was surprising to me there, I mean, the front court domination tonight for Mark Morris. Obviously, it helps, Kellen, when you come out and you shoot the ball well from long range.
Absolutely.
They had a couple threes in the early going, but they never let up on attacking down low and getting to the basket. And I mentioned the key players tonight were going to be Dalton Stevens and Jaden Jenkins, and they both had great games. utilizing their length, their athleticism. They rebounded. Stevens blocked 4 shots as emphatically as I've ever seen at the high school level. I mean, they just really never let R.A. Long catch their collective breath. They made the Jacks feel like that they were, climbing uphill the entire time, which they were. You got to give a lot of credit to those guys. And then Braden Olson, of course, finishes the show in the second half with a lot of fancy moves and just really dominated tonight for Mark Morris. What were your thoughts in the ball game?
Yeah, I would agree with that. The one thing that stood out to me is how fluent Mark Morris's offensive unit was. Like you said earlier, and like we said throughout the broadcast, 8 different scores. I mean, that's just incredible. And their offense was always moving. Like you said previously, they got a lot at the rim, whereas in R.A. Long, they settled for a lot of threes and didn't get a whole lot at the rim. Rhett Young, who I thought was going to be a big factor in this game, finishes with what I think you got 2 or 4 down here?
4 on the score sheet, yeah.
4 down here.
And I think you're right. He was a big factor in the game, a big non-factor tonight.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a negative sense, that, in terms of what Rhett did or didn't do, but Mark Morris's plan was to try to get in the passing lanes on the entry, but they also rotated help over anytime that, he was going to get an entry pass. And, Dawson Morrow, I mean, he may only be 6'1" on the listed height chart, but, man, he's about 250 of a man, and he's able to move Young off of his spot and make him catch away from the basket, and just made life really difficult on him. And, again, he's just a sophomore. It's his first Civil War game, and dealing with a really good head coach like Bill Backamus to draw up a game plan. I mean, I don't think it's really anything that Rhett didn't do. I just think it's more of what the game plan that Mark Morris put together to, really disrupt him and never getting an opportunity to get going. The Jenkins 3 fouls was probably one of the biggest factors in that first quarter. I mean, when you have to sit the entire second quarter, I mean, a couple years ago, Kevin Holden on the bench with 4 fouls after he picked up 2 to start the third quarter, and came back and put on one of the most spectacular, memorable performances in the fourth quarter to lead R.A. Long back. Kind of reminded me a little bit of that, but the game just wasn't close enough for Trey Jenkins to come back and have the type of impact that could ultimately get your team back into it and over the hump. He did end up scoring 7 there in that second half. But when you got Jenkins and you got Young scoreless at the half in the front court, and then you've got 8 different guys scoring for Mark Morris, I mean, it's just going to make life super difficult. Mark Morris now improves to 8-5 overall. They extend their first place lead in the Greater St. Helens League. They're up to 7-1 now. Meanwhile, R.A. Long 9-3. They dropped to 5-3 in Greater St. Helens League play. It's not very often that you look at a team like R.A. Long, how they've played over the last couple of years, and they've got 3 losses at the halfway point in the league schedule, but speaks volumes as to how good and balanced the league really is. And you look at the who beat who formula here, Columbia River beat Mark Morris by 9. And they led by as many as 23, and then R.A. Long goes on the road and beats them in the same building, right? Mark Morris has no problem beating Ridgefield on the road. Ridgefield comes here and beats R.A. Long. Washougal picked up a win against the Jacks earlier this year. The league is crazy competitive. I don't think Mark Morris has lost their last game, and I don't think that R.A. Long has lost their last game either. I mean, both teams are going to have to deal with tough teams throughout the season. I think really, for R.A. Long tonight, it's mental more than anything else. Like, how do you mentally recover from a loss like this, and how do you bounce back? They're predominantly a pretty young team. They're going to get their opportunity right away. But what were your final thoughts on how the game played out and where these two teams go from here?
Yeah, like you were saying about how tough the 2A league is, I would even times that by 10. Like, this league with so many teams and so many different opponents and types of opponents, every game you get a different type of team, and it's just hard to adjust. Now, granted, these guys have been in this league for a while, and coaches have been here for a while, so they know how to typically scheme. But, you just see a different type of team every night. And tonight, I feel like we saw 2 different types of teams. And Mark Morris, man, they dominated. Simple and flat. Plain and simple.
Well, it was 23-8 at the end of the first quarter. Mark Morris with the lead, and then they took a 37-19 lead into the half. All things considered, Kellen, R.A. Long kept it at 15 until that buzzer beater 3 at the end of the second quarter by Braden Olson with 1.3 left in the quarter. They played even with Mark Morris with Jenkins on the bench the entire time.
Yeah.
So that was a great effort by them, and then to have that happen to where the 3 goes down by Olsen, and they end up taking that 18-point lead into the locker room. I think it just really made it a little bit more deflating for RA Long. They took a lot of time coming out of the locker room trying to figure out a gut check moment, so to speak. But then in the third quarter, Mark Morris extends their lead to 58-34, and they don't put their foot on the brake at all in the fourth. They end up running it up to 82-54 as the final. Just you hate to use this word, right, because it sounds real disrespectful, but a beatdown tonight. Yeah. A 28-point win. It wasn't running clock. It didn't get quite to that point, but, it just felt like that once we got to that fourth quarter, there was really no hope for RA Long to get back into it.
No, not at all. And it's hard to get back into a game when you've given up 2 20-point quarters. You got to defend better than that and rebound better than that. I think those were the 2 things that stood out to me. Is the rebounding or a lack of rebounding from RA Long really hurt them. And give it to Mark Morris. They were all over the boards. I rarely saw a second chance shot by RA Long. And Mark Morris was on everything, whether it was Braden Olsen, Dalton Stevens, we got Malachi Gray too. All 3 of those guys were just in there scrapping, and I think that's really what the difference was between this game.
Andrew O'Brien asks on the Facebook chat, who did Mark Morris lose to? Well, in league, they lost to Columbia River on the road. Non-league, they've lost to Kelso, they've lost to Bellarmine Prep, they've lost to Grandview and Linden, the two-time defending state champion Linden Lions. So, nothing to sneeze at. Kelso's had a really good year so far. Bellarmine's a 4A team. And I think that Mark Morris was still trying to get things figured out. That was just the second game of the year. You could tell with where they're at right now that, Mark Morris is building Monarch basketball in the right direction. That trip to Yakima, you guys made it as well this year in Seton Catholic, but you schedule those games and you schedule that environment so you can mimic what it's like to play in the state tournament under the big lights, with a lot of space behind the backboard. Tough to get that depth reception, tough to get that shooting. But Mark Morris, came away with that and became a better team despite losing those 2 games.
And absolutely, that's why you schedule that, like you were saying. We went and I actually got to see Mark Morris this season at Yakima too. And same reasons I'm sure Bill Backman schedules those games as well, is to get into that big environment. I know there's not quite the crowd that there is for state because it is during the day, but it does help your players adjust to it and get used to how big the arena is. So when it gets to those state moments, when you need those clutch buckets, when you need those big plays, you're used to that longer court, not so much stuff on the side, your family not sitting right next to you, your coach is yelling a little bit louder because it's a little bit harder to hear with so much space. That's why you schedule these.
It got real there when they chanted the "You need Cavan," man. Oh, that's a dagger.
That was cold-hearted, but hey, if it was the other way around and RA Long had the lead, I'm sure they would be saying the same thing, but to Kobe Parlin.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, obviously. That's what happens when you got a rivalry as intense as this one, and, both teams came into it with high intensity, and Mark Morris played like it. I'm not going to shy away from my thoughts. I never do. Mark Morris played their best game of the season tonight, and I'm not saying that RA Long played their worst game. I don't believe that. I truly think that just Mark Morris played their absolute best version of themselves tonight.
They looked way more prepared to me, especially in warm-ups and coming out of the second half. They looked like a team that was determined and had something to prove. Like you were saying about the 5 losses, I think they're just trying to knock that down. They're trying to get away from that narrative of, hey, we got 5 losses, and try to show the state committee, hey, we're still here, we're still in this.
I'm going to say something to Braden Olsen here real quick. Yeah. You mind if he sits in real quick?
No.
All right, cool. We're going to get Braden Olsen here, and I'm going to ask him some questions. Okay. Oh, no problem, buddy. Thank you so much. All right. I love it. All right. Braden, I don't have the camera on us right now, so we'll just do some audio. Go ahead and give me a sound check real quick.
Hey.
All right. So, Braden Olsen, we just talked the other day, buddy, and talked about going into this game, and you come away with a big win. I guess I just don't really know what to say other than congratulations. You played phenomenal. You pulled off one of the nicest moves I've seen with the jump stop wraparound late, even though the shot didn't go.
Yeah.
You hit a couple really tough shots late in the game. What was working for you tonight, and what was working for your team?
I thought we were just in attack mode the whole game. Just we were tougher than them. We just wanted it more than them. I thought we were really going in transition. I was getting to my spots in mid-range, and then if they collapsed on me, I was getting easy buckets to Jaden and Dawson. Just I think we're just playing up and down really well.
In the pregame, I was talking with Kellen there about the guys on your team that are going to have to kind of step up and have their best games of the year to help you guys win. And Dalton Stevens and Jaden Jenkins both put together those performances. I know that Stevens has scored more this year, but his defensive effort tonight, his effort on the rebound, and then he got going on the offensive end as well. Just talk about those two guys and how they played tonight.
Oh my gosh, they're amazing. They're really our defensive backbone. Just being able to just do some things that most people can't. Just block shots. And then Jaden, freak athlete, if he gets on the rim, he's gonna make it. Dalton blocking shots, and his scoring starting to come to him, and I'm just really happy for them too. They're gonna really help us, and they're gonna have to contribute well for us to go far, and they're definitely gonna do it.
Yeah, I think of that word contribute, man, and you got 8 guys on your roster that scored before halftime. What does it mean to have 8 guys play and 8 guys score to kind of just make it so difficult for the Jacks to key in on one guy?
Oh, it means a lot. If 8 guys are scoring, they can't stop everybody. But yeah, I didn't even know that. That's crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah, I got you unofficially with 30, but when you look at all these guys' names, you got Lamb in the scorebook, Ibarreta, Malachi with 7, Dalton Stevens 16, Jenkins 11, Bjorgi with 5 or 6. I can't tell with my chicken scratch. Morrow with 4. I mean, the only guys that played tonight that didn't score were late with Bo Jensen and Nate Stevens there, but and Mac West as well. But man, I mean,
For sure.
Kellen and I were talking about your trip to Yakima. We mentioned it the other night, but I mean, it just looks like that you guys are a lot better off. You guys played your best basketball of the season tonight. Could you agree with that?
I definitely agree.
And I think a lot of people are going to take notice in a win like this tonight, 82-54. The Jacks had only allowed 46 points per game. Did you know that going into tonight?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I mean, 82 points is a healthy effort.
They really strive on the defensive end for them. So for us to come out here and score that much, it shows that we got a lot of offensive game to us.
Well, you guys are looking to defend your title in the Greater St. Helens League after going undefeated last year. Obviously, that won't be the case this year, but you do get Columbia River at home in the second half. You get Ridgefield at home in the second half. You get R.A. Long at home again after winning this one. What are your guys' thoughts as a team collectively, do you think, about getting that championship once again in the trophy case?
Definitely. We got big goals and aspirations, and we were definitely looking forward to that. And yeah.
All right, cool, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for the donation. I appreciate you, appreciate your family and your availability. And go get them next time, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely. That's Braden Olson of the Mark Morris Monarchs, fresh off of a 82-54 win here at R.A. Long. We're going to bring Kellen back in here in just a second, but Kellen's big and tall, and this is a scrunched up space here to sit in. We don't have to sit here for much longer, but there's Mr. Olson leaving the area, heading back down to celebrate with his fans. They're not kicking everybody out really quickly here tonight, but yeah, I mean, incredible win tonight. Fans, if you're interested in throwing a donation our way, again, Venmo and PayPal, it's at N2 Media. It's super easy to find, and we appreciate any support that we get. Keeps the gas in the car and food in my stomach, and as you know, I'm a big man, that's for sure. So yeah, I mean, Kellen, honestly, just wanted to say real quick, thanks for coming down and doing the game with me. Very impressed with how you were able to contribute to the game and the call and lend your coach's perspective. You're a young guy. Kellen's up and coming coach down at Seton Catholic on the staff. Played at Seton Catholic, class of 2020. Be sure to give him a follow. He's on Twitter as well. Easy to find. If you follow me, you'll see his tag linked to mine for the game link. So be sure to follow me on Twitter. It's at media_N2. But we talked a couple weeks ago, and you said, hey man, if you ever want somebody to broadcast a game, hit me up. And I was like, you know what? I'd love to get a non-R.A. Long and a non-Mark Morris perspective of the game in the Civil War. That way it just doesn't seem like that, we're a bunch of homers here,
Yeah.
but kind of we are a bunch of homers, honestly. But, it was your first Civil War. It wasn't the variety that,
It usually
brought
is.
it down. Well, wire to wire tight,
Yeah.
back and forth. It really wasn't quite that tonight. But what were your impressions of the game and the atmosphere here at the Lumberdome tonight?
So I'm used to a small school rivalry in the Kingsway Seton game, and that usually gets packed. A couple years ago, 2019, that game was really packed. But the atmosphere here is intense. These schools are only 2 miles apart, and yeah, it's intense. The coaching is intense. The playing is intense. You got a lot of close relationships with Coach Key playing under Coach Backamus. There's just a lot of ties into this. And then all the youth programs that tie into this as well, the youth basketball. These kids have probably grown up playing, together or against each other for probably all their basketball lives. Mm-hmm. So that's what adds special meaning to this. Whereas in the rivalries I'm used to, Vancouver's a big city. You got a lot of the more bigger high schools, and so you don't see as many kids playing against each other as you typically have here. So that's what makes this rivalry special, is all 10 kids on all the benches and all the kids playing have all played against each other.
That Camas and Union rivalry down there is pretty big too.
I was at that one on Tuesday where Camas beat them 71-31. That one was intense. I've seen that, but yeah, it doesn't help when Beckett Curry is draining threes from near half court.
He's ridiculous.
And you got Ethan Harris that's just almost dunking everything, and Matt Sittler underneath. They give a lot of teams trouble.
Yeah, this name might not be familiar to you, but Beckett Curry, he reminds me of a guy that played for Gonzaga and who went to Mountain View years back. His name's Derek Ravio.
Oh, I know Derek.
Okay, good, because he
And
reminds
Matt.
me so much of Derek Ravio and his ability to jab guys off of him with ease, create space with his shoulders, with his legs. He does so much work, that you don't really think goes into basketball, but it does. So, time for us to name a player of the game because they want to turn the lights out on everybody here. Kellen, I'll start with you. Who do you think vote for player of the game?
I got the guy getting interviewed at the three-point line right now, Braden Olsen. He really created so much mismatches offensively by scoring with ease, but also what was, I think, underestimated, not underestimated, but not really seen, was his rebounding ability on the defensive end. That really started the offense in the half court for Mark Morris and got them a lot of easy transition points and some kick-out threes.
I concur. Braden Olsen, player of the game here tonight. 30 points. It's not one of those efforts either where you can say that they don't win without him, because I think that's foolish. I think that the way that Dalton Stevens and Jaden Jenkins played tonight, that there was a lot of players that were doing a lot of good things here tonight for Mark Morris. But, obviously, without question, Braden Olsen was the catalyst. He played his best game of the season tonight. When the team plays good and he plays good, super hard to beat, obviously. But Braden Olsen, my vote as well. Congratulations, Braden. 30-point performance here tonight. Player of the game. A couple times he's done that here. Did it last year, and I look forward to seeing where the journey goes for both the Monarchs and the Jacks. And I think both teams are still very good. And I can't wait to see what the rematches has in store for us, because it's going to be the biggest opportunity. There's nowhere to go but up, I think, for R.A. Long after this one.
Absolutely.
And I think it's going to be up to Mark Morris to keep that mental sharpness and be prepared for R.A. Long's best punch when they meet again.
Absolutely, and I could see them meeting again in districts, whether it's for a semifinal or a trip to go to Yakima.
100%. All right, well, that's going to wrap things up for us. Kellen Ball and Nick Sisson here on behalf of N2 Media saying thank you all so very much for coming on out tonight. Again, follow on social media, YouTube at _media N2, media_N2 on Twitch or Twitter, and then Facebook at Northwest News Media. I am on Twitch, though, by the way. Appreciate everybody coming on out. Hope you guys all had a great time. It was a lot of fun for us. And, thumbs up on having Kellen do another game with us sometime. And rumor has it I might, if I can, try to head down to that Seton Catholic Kingsway Holy War matchup.
Next
Hopefully,
Friday.
Yeah, well, not that one. The one January 30th at Seton Catholic.
Even
so,
a better place to watch a game.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see if the schedule works. I'm expecting a baby any minute, so
yeah.
We'll see how that goes. But appreciate everybody coming on out tonight. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
Peace.